Human papillomavirus, HPV, is the most prominent sexually transmitted infection in the United States. Currently, approximately 20 million Americans, men and women, are infected with HPV. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention estimates 6 million new cases of HPV annually in the United States alone. It is estimated 80% of the sexually active population will be affected by HPV in their lifetime. 80% of women will have contracted the virus before the age of 50. Over 100 strains of HPV have been identified. While most HPV strains are low risk and self-resolving, 30 to 40 strains are considered high risk. The high-risk strains of HPV can lead to numerous cancers, including the throat, tongue, tonsils, esophagus, vulva, vagina, cervix, uterus, penis, and anus. Infection with HPV is the primary cause of cervical cancer in the United States. The CDC reported 11,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer every year in the United States. The majority of these cases are as a result of infection with HPV. Cervical cancer causes approximately 4,000 deaths each year in the United States. There is no cure or treatment for HPV. The development and administration of an HPV vaccine that may potentially eliminate the majority of HPV and associated cancerous conditions is a landmark in the prevention of HPV and cervical cancer. Prevention of known high-risk HPV strains is available through a vaccination and is 100% effective if administered prior to contact with the papillomavirus family. There are 2 available vaccines which prevent the infection of HPV. The FDA has licensed the vaccines as safe and effective. Common side effects include pain at injection site, fever, dizziness, and nausea. Gardasil protects against the strains 6, 11, 16, and 18. The strains 6 and 11 are associated with 90% of genital warts. The strains 16 and 18 are associated with 70% of cervical cancer. Gardasil also offers some protection against cancers of the vulva, vagina, and anus. An alternative vaccine, Cervarix, protects against the strains 16 and 18. The vaccination process requires 3 injections at 0, 2, and 6 months. The estimated cost of the HPV vaccination is approximately $360 total for the 3 injection series. Vaccine effectiveness has been established through 5 years. The Federal Advisory Committee on Immunization recommends vaccination for girls at age 11 to 12 and a catch-up vaccination for girls and women ages 13 to 26. The ACIP recommendation for 11 to 12-year-old girls are age-specific to promote vaccination prior to the onset of sexual activity. Gardasil is approved as safe and effective for males ages 9 to 26 years old to prevent genital warts and anal cancer. The vaccine has been recently recommended by the ACIP for boys age 11 to 12. Awareness and knowledge of HPV and the associated risk of cancer is a definitive influence to the public. Knowledge of HPV is limited, as only 40% of females ages 18 to 75 have ever heard of HPV, and within that group, only 20% were aware of the connection between HPV and cancer. A CDC survey found in 2007 only 10% of females ages 18 to 26 had received the vaccination. HPV is transmissible by various types of sexual contact, not just sexual intercourse. Currently, there are a variety of sources to help fund the vaccine, which include private and public insurance and federal state funding. An effective method for vaccination coverage for a large population is mandatory requirement policies with school entrance. Within the United States, Virginia and Washington, D.C. have mandatory vaccination requirements. Since 2006, 41 states have introduced legislation for mandate, funding, or education. Approximately 20 states have enacted the legislation. Human papillomavirus infection is prevalent in the United States, affecting approximately 1 in 4 women ages 14 to 59. The rate is highest in women ages 20 to 24, affecting 45% of this population. A vaccine for the prevention of high-risk strains of HPV was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in June of 2006. Hello, my name is Heather. I am an OBGYN and family nurse practitioner. I am also a cancer survivor. I am here to tell you HPV is real. I was diagnosed with cervical and uterine cancer 3 years ago. HPV caused my cancer and nearly took my life. A prompt diagnosis and radical hysterectomy saved my life. I was 36 years old and healthy. This virus can affect anyone. My story is difficult for me to discuss, but I firmly believe in education and vaccination to prevent future cases of HPV and cancer-related conditions. My education saved my life. The HPV vaccine introduces prevention. Through public awareness, education, and vaccination, HPV can be eliminated. Let's work together to fight this virus, because life is too good.